There is one mental trick that every top lacrosse player understands and uses on a daily basis. It lets them play with confidence and win every single matchup. The crazy part is it takes zero skill and it can be the thing that gets you recruited. You're faced with challenges a lot in lacrosse. Almost every single day, you're going to be run into something. Like you don't want to go to the field, something hurts, you maybe get cut from a team. There's always something. Like no matter what, there's always going to be a problem. And early in my career, one of the things I would kind of just move through these problems or I'd accept them. So if I had, a nagging injury in my shoulder or something hurt or I got cut from a team or a coach decided they didn't want to take me in the recruiting process, I would kind of accept these things. And then I realized that a lot of these things aren't as black and white as you might think. Like an injury feels like an inevitable thing or it's something that you just have to deal with. But once I kind of learned this concept that whenever you're faced with a challenge like an injury, like getting cut, like not improving as fast as you want, any lacrosse challenge, you have to ask yourself if you're going to settle or are you going to move mountains. And that's just a little maxim that I repeat in my head over and over and over and over again. And I like the injury. I want to explain it with injuries. I think injuries are a really good way to view this. So I'll take my knee for right now because I have torn ACL, and I think it's a good example of it. Now, an example of settling with having an injury like this is that the recovery time is 9 to 10 months, and then hopefully I'll be able to play next season. And my old self and many athletes, the settling version of this is saying, okay, yeah, I'm gonna settle. I'm just gonna hopefully I can play next season. But the moving mountains piece, or asking yourself, am I gonna settle or am I gonna move mountains? Am I gonna do what I feel is almost impossible? Would be becoming an All-American next season instead of just hoping to play, becoming the best player in the country next season instead of just hoping to play, and then breaking that down into action. So what does that mean? What is that? What is moving mountains in this scenario? That means doing PT every day. That means playing double the amount of wall ball I would if I was healthy. That means focusing on points in my game that I've never been able to because when I'm healthy, I don't see them as a priority. So it's taking it to the logical extreme. How hard can I push myself? How much better can I be after this injury than I would be in the other scenario when I would be healthy? So it's seeing these challenges and understanding that they're not a black and white thing. They're not inevitable. It's not black and white that I'm going to be worse next season than I was the previous season because I haven't been able to train all off season because of my ACL. Another more maybe applicable example for you guys as recruits would be you get a call back from your dream school and they say, sorry, roster cap's full, can't take you. You're done. We're not recruiting you anymore. I've had those phone calls. They hurt a lot. And 99% of players, you settle. But what's the version of moving mountains in that? That's going to the school, getting into school without lacrosse, and then trying to walk on. And then maybe you don't make it your freshman year. You train harder that year, and then you walk on as a sophomore or as a junior. I know someone who didn't get recruited to any schools, an amazing poll. Instead of settling and saying, hey, I'm just going to go to a random school and just live my life, maybe play club lacrosse, he said, I'm not doing that. And he went to his dream school that he wanted to go to, and he tried to walk on, and he got cut his freshman year. And then his sophomore year, he got cut again. And as a junior, think about this. Think about spending 2 years at a college, training by yourself every single day, all to play, and then make it as a junior. He moved mountains to get there. He didn't take the no as an answer. And I think that's the real lesson from this. Things aren't black and white. Nothing, especially in lacrosse, especially in life, nothing's black and white. If someone tells you no, it's not actually a no. If you're hurt, it's not actually an inhibitor. There's a way to get around it. There's a way to get better. Say you're want to go practice, but you have kind of this nagging ankle injury, and it's not like you haven't been to the doctor. It's that kind of thing that just hurts, but you don't know. Maybe if I go out to the field and I will get worse, but I want to work hard. Settling is kind of saying, I'm gonna stay in my room. I'm not gonna work out because I'm gonna play it smart, and I don't want to make it worse. That's great. I think that's a logical thing that most athletes would do, and that's a logical thing that most parents and coaches would maybe tell you to do. Don't play on the injury. But what's the version of moving mountains in that? What I would say, what can you do in that scenario? Okay, my ankle hurts. What can I do? Well, I could go down and play wall ball without moving much. I could do that. Well, I could maybe just play pass with someone, or I could maybe just go watch film for a couple hours. There's always something you can do. And the version of moving mountains is doing that extra thing, not settling with saying, hey, this injury is going to inhibit me. I'm going to go do something else. Real quick, if you want to help grow this podcast, please help me and share it with other people that you know, coaches, players, parents. Share it to anyone who you think could help with or needs help with lacrosse advice. Thank you guys for listening. Let's get back to it. Or it's accepting that injury. You're settling is saying, hey, I'm just going to not work out today and go lay on the couch. But moving mountains is saying, no, I'm going to go ice this thing. I'm going to stretch. I'm going to do PT. I'm going to do research on how to fix this thing. I'm going to go to a doctor and see what they say. That's moving mountains, doing everything in your power to get past whatever challenge it is, no matter how black and white it feels. Because your body, an injury, it's like, well, it just takes time, right? Well, no. You can speed up the process. You can do other things in the meantime. You can work on your mental side of the game. You can watch film. You can almost always play wall ball unless it's, like a shoulder injury or a wrist injury or something like that. There's always something you can do. It's like the photo of Kobe taking free throws with his broken arm. Another, see, he's doing one-hand free throws the entire time. Like, there's always something you can do. And you can't see these challenges, these hardships, as something that's black and white, and you can't accept them. I think this is a principle called agency. How in control of the world are you? Like, if you're faced with something, there's always something you can do. And this took me too long to realize that if your coach says to you, hey, like, this is set, you're going to be on the bench this year, and I need you to play that role of a bench player. I need you to be supportive, and I need you to not try and start. I need you to understand your position. Settling is saying, hey, okay, I'm going to be a good teammate, and I'm going to take that role as a bench player, and I'm going to support my guys. I'm going to support them in the best way possible. And that's great. But what's moving mountains in that scenario? Moving mountains in that scenario is saying, hey, I'm going to do all those things of being a good teammate, and I'm not going to try to push things, but I'm going to work as hard as possible, stay after every single practice, and every single opportunity I get, I'm going to show I'm the best player on this field. And that is moving mountains. And you're not trying to sabotage the team. You're not trying to play selfish, but you are working as hard as physically possible and not accepting that reality of being a bench player. And the reason why I'm really passionate about this is that throughout my entire recruiting process, throughout my entire high school process, like, none of these things registered with me. I was very excuse driven. Like, being from a smaller area and like not having the opportunities I felt I deserved, stuff like that, it all got in my head, and I had injuries and all this stuff. Like, I just settled a lot. I was too small. I told myself I was too small. I was 5'10", so I settled, and I was like, well, a 5'10" defender can't really make it to the highest level. It was like, woe is me, that kind of thing. Like, I can't get taller, right? Like, it's those kind of black and white issues that you lull yourself into. And if I could go back and see myself, I'd shake myself and say, stop, like, move mountains. Okay, you're shorter as a defender. Well, go have the best footwork in the country. Go put on 20 pounds of muscle. Those are things that are in your control that you can do. Those are moving the mountains. So, shaking myself now, this is my situation. Like, I have a torn ACL, and I have 7 months of recovery left. And I have a season in February. And when it first happened, I was like, so down on myself, and I was just thinking, man, I hope I can just play next year. Like, I hope I can get on the field. That's settling. Hoping you can get on the field, come on, that's settling. That's the lowest bar ever. What's moving mountains? Moving mountains is becoming an All-American, becoming the best player on the team, and being significantly better than I would have been if I didn't tear my ACL. That's the kind of mindset that you have to have with every single challenge that you face in your recruiting process, in your lacrosse process, and just in life in general. So I hope this helped. This is a little more personal to me, a little more like what I wish I heard when I was younger. But thank you so much for watching. Also, this podcast only grows if you guys share it. It's smaller. It's kind of an offshoot of everything else I do. So send it to coaches, send it to players. If you are a coach, if you're a parent, send it to your kids. If you got any value from it, please share it around so I can keep kind of doing this style of thing. So thank you guys so much for listening.